Welcome to the presentation of Corporate Planning, or CP. This is a software for budgeting and planning, and it's specified in financial and operational planning. The aim of this presentation is for you to get an overview of the software, what it looks like to work within the software, and to see what you can get as a benefit from this software. After the initial presentation, you will get a chance to see what it looks like within the software. So we start with the planning process. First of all, what do we need to plan? We need to plan free cash flow in order to have money for paying the dividends to the equity holders and to repay the outstanding amount of debt. If we drill down, we see that free cash flow consists of cash flow from operations and cash flow from investing activities or capital expenditure. In order to plan free cash flow, we need to plan these two parts. So if we do a further drill down, cash flow from operating activities consists of EBITDA, or earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, and a change of net working capital. In order to plan these, for EBITDA we need to plan the gross margin or contribution, and we need to plan the operating expenses. On the side of net working capital, we have to plan receivables, inventories and payables. Then when we plan gross margin, we need to plan net turnover and cost of goods sold. And net turnover is not always equal to gross turnover. We need to deduct all the deductions and rebates that we give to our customers. If we speak of all this planning, this is what's called financial planning, or planning of the P&L, profit and loss account, balance sheet and the cash flow statement. From this, we have two separate parts. We have one part that focuses on sales, which is the topic of sales controlling, where we plan the net sales based on products and the customers that we have. On the other side, we plan operational expenses or operating expenses in the part of operational controlling, where we do the cost center planning. In CP software, we have three different modules. The main one is financial controlling, where we plan these three key financial statements. On the other side, we have sales controlling and operational controlling, where we do a more detailed planning of revenues and expenses. As I have said, financial controlling focuses on planning of the P&L, balance sheet and cash flow statement. Sales controlling focuses on planning of the sales. And when we plan sales, there are various dimensions that we need to plan. First of all, we need to plan quantities, then we plan the selling price, cost of goods sold, various discounts and sales returns, and rebates. And if we want to do a further drill down to see how we plan the sales, then we can say that we plan sales by products and by customers. Then, once we plan products, we have to plan different products groups, and also for the customers, we plan customers by regions, sectors, or by individual customers. So if we do further drill down, for instance, if we plan customers by region, we have in this example three different regions. We have EU, DACH and other region. So if we do a further drill down for DACH region, we have Germany, Austria and Switzerland. And then for Germany we can plan for various regions within Germany, and for each region for different cities or municipalities that we have within that region. This way we get a detailed planning of sales, and we have various dimensions that we plan by these criteria. If we take a closer look, we've done 7 levels of planning for sales. We started by sales, then we planned by customers, by different regions by countries, then regions within countries, and the last level was the city level. So for sales controlling, sometimes we need to have more dimensions to plan this. The main two dimensions are products and customers. And this is exactly what we have within the software. When we speak about operational controlling, in operational controlling we plan by cost objects or cost centers. Cost objects are usually cost centers, and in case of companies that have large capital expenditure or a large amount of assets, there are usually different machines within the company, within the production. Then we plan the cost types such as salaries, material, energy, maintenance, spare parts or services. We plan cost objects such as customers, employees or region. And as well as that, we can plan these cost centers by different sectors, and we can group the cost centers within the sector. Also, in some cases, we will plan by different employees. We will plan the employee expenses, their salaries, their expenses on the business trip, and so on. And also, we have to plan in different currencies. If we are a multinational company, then we will have the different currencies and need to do the consolidation within one single database in a single currency. Also, we can plan by different projects if we're a company that focuses on projects. So what you can do in the corporate planning software is you can make your customized planning based on all these cost objects that we have seen, or by any other dimension that you have in your ERP system, or that you don't have already but you want to plan by that dimension. Here we can see an example of what financial controlling module looks like, and here we see the cash flow statement, how it's made within the software. This is just one example of a database. Here we see the sales controlling module, and within the sales controlling, what we see right now is two different trees. The upper tree focuses on customers, whereas the lower tree focuses on products that we are planning to sell. Also, we see that here we are planning quantities and turnover, and we can have various dimensions that we are planning here. On this slide, we see the operational controlling module, which focuses on planning of wood production in this case. We can plan various cost centers, and we can make cross-references within cost centers and cost types that we have in our operating expenses. Once we do the planning in sales controlling and operational controlling, we connect these figures to financial controlling and have them within the financial plans. So what are the key benefits of the software? First of all, it's higher ROCE, or higher return on capital employed. In one word, it's higher profits. So management gets a better and faster budget, which underpins the ROI objectives or targets. Then we have a better integration of operational and financial planning. Operational plans are connected with financial plans, and once we make the changes within operating plans, for instance, we change the plan for production on one machine, automatically we get the result for the whole P&L and for the whole cash flow statement based on the change that we've made in an operational plan. That means that management gets more time to focus on high quality analysis and forecasting instead of spending time focusing on collecting data. In simple words, this means more cash. So if we have better cash planning, that means that we will have more cash or more free cash flow. As I have said, everyone who's involved in the planning process has more time for analysis and spends less time doing the manual work or working within the Excel. Some of the key characteristics of the software include the ability to import any database and create a fast forecast. Then the installation of the software is not long. It starts from 30 days for a complex company. It is also a low investment which has a fast payback. It has a huge scope of analytical tools and multi-dimensions, and as we have seen and we will see in this presentation. Controlling logic is built into the process of planning, and there is no need for the user to connect manually all the databases. There is an integration of operational plans with financial budgets, and also the quality of the software is guaranteed by 30 years of German tradition and Bojan, who implements the software with his team of controllers. Let's take a closer look at the all key characteristics of the software. First of all, there's ability to import from any database and to create a fast forecast. You have your ERP system, and here we can see examples of some ERP systems where you have the actual data. You connect this actual data through CP connectivity or through import tools. We can create a direct connection with your ERP system, or you can export data from your ERP system into an SQL or Excel database, and then we will import that database into CP. Once we connect to your databases, then we use the data for operational controlling, financial controlling, and sales controlling in order to create the budget for the next periods. We have different add-ons that we use to create better reports, and once we have everything here within the software, we can make fast forecasts and fast budgets. What's the focus of controlling is variance analysis, and this software helps you focus on reporting and variance analysis instead of focusing on collecting the data. The installation is fast and it starts from 30 days. And here we can see an example of the implementation process. It's usually 30 to 90 days from the buying decisions to the project completion, where you can use the software in your day-to-day business. The investment is low, which means that the payback is fast, and the investment depends on three main factors: modules, users, and additional functionalities that you choose. When we speak about modules, there are 4 different modules: financial controlling, operational controlling, sales controlling, and consolidated controlling or consolidation. The price of the software depends on the modules that you choose, and here we can see an example of the price. So if you choose one module, it's 7,900 euros for a group that has 5 companies. If you have more than 5 companies, the price won't be multiplied by the number of companies. Instead, it will be, for instance, here 35,000 euros for 100 companies. If you buy more than one module, the price won't add up. It will be deducted, and you will have a deduction for each additional module that you purchase. Also, you can choose the users that you want to have. And here we can see examples of the users. The main user is the designer who has the full access, and he's the administrator of CP within your company. It's usually controllers who have this role. Writers are those who can put in numbers, and they can have the access to various tables where they give their inputs. Viewers can only see the data and they can only see the reports but can't write any data into the tables. Here we can see the examples of prices for each additional user. It starts from 175 euros for a viewer and up to 1,000 for a designer. Then we have some additional functionalities such as CP connectivity, which connects directly to your ERP system, and all of these additional connectivities or additional functionalities cost around 2,000 to 3,000 euros. If we want to see what it costs in total, for a small wholesale company that has only one company within group and 5 users and a low level of additional functionalities, the whole software implementation and training cost around 5,000 euros. In the second example, where we have a retail company with 2 modules, 10 companies, 20 users and a medium level of functionalities, the whole price goes to 45,000 euros. Also, there are 4 different ways of paying and configuration. You can pay everything at once as a capital expenditure, or you can pay monthly or yearly as an operating expense. Also, the way you pay depends on the solution that you choose, whether it's on your own server or on-premise, or if it's cloud version, which would in that case be based on the Microsoft Azure cloud that's based in Germany. Also, the same example that we've seen, a wholesale company with a small number of users and add-ons, which had a cost of 15,000 euro for CAPEX, that's on cloud, the price would be 15,000 euros. If they choose to do the investment as an operating expense and paid monthly, that would be 490 euros per month. There is a huge scope of analytical tools and multi-dimensions within the software. As we have mentioned before, in the software you can have multiple data streams, such as last year, actual budget, forecast, plans, simulations, and so on. And you can create all these data streams by a couple of clicks in a couple of seconds. So you can have various types of budgets or plans within a single database. You have various reports within the same database that use the same data which underpins them. You can have as many cost objects or cost centers as you want, and you can group them by their categories such as products, customers, and so on. You can have various structural units or legal entities within one database. And if you're a group that has many companies, you can do the consolidated reports within a single database. As well as that, within one single company, you can have various divisions or various cost centers within that company. As well as that, there is a limited amount of currencies that you can enter into the software, so you can also do the consolidation and the translation of currencies within the software and set the currency exchange rates that you want to see for the P&L and for the balance sheet. Different users can have different permissions and roles within the software. And also what you focus on is variance analysis or reporting. And there are tools for reporting within the software. As well as that, you can follow any KPI that you want, whether it's a financial KPI, such as return on capital employed, or if it's an operating KPI, such as turnover for 1 square meter. You can define all the KPIs that you follow within the software and then focus on fulfilling the goals that are linked to this KPI. Controlling logic is built into the process of planning, and what we see here is the typical logic of planning and budgeting. First of all, we start with the last year, and if we look at this example, revenue for the last year was 90. Then we see the actual year, and here we have the actual data for the first 9 months, which is 80. Based on this, we create a forecast for the remaining of the year for October to December, which in this case is 40, which gives us the whole forecast for the year of 120. From the reporting side, we see the variance of plus 30 in this period, or plus 25%. And this forecast of 120 is the basis that we use for budgeting for the next year. We plan the budget for the next year to be 170, which is then the variance of plus 50 or 42%. The whole process is built into the software, and this is the whole logic of planning that we use when we use the software. Also, the software helps you with some of the technical difficulties that are usually present when you do the P&L and balance sheet planning, such as selling to different kinds of customers, different payment dynamics and payment terms, and also VAT issues. Once you plan the P&L, you have the balance sheet planned already, as you can define within the software all these different payment dynamics and VAT terms and so on. Also, there's an integration of operational plans with financial budgets. And if we go back to what we need to plan, or how the whole planning process looks like, from planning of the free cash flow to going into details and planning the sales and operational controlling, what we get as the whole benefit is that we have all these plans integrated. We start with defining the targets or top-down planning, and then once we do a further drill down, then we go from bottom up and input the data into these plans and try to match the top-down and bottom-up plans. This is an example of what it looks like within the software. So management gives the targets from top-down, which are then spread through to all the units within the company and all the cost types. Then the functional managers do more detailed plans and reach the top-down target. Also, the quality is guaranteed by 30 years of German tradition, and corporate planning is specialized only in this software. They are founded in 1989, and here you can find in one place both software, training, and implementations. There are over 150 employees and 4,000 customers, and the corporate planning is the only partner of Controller Academy. As well as that, Bojan implements the software with his team of business controllers. And for us, it's characteristic that we are passionate about German controlling. We have introduced controlling to Serbia in 2011, and we are the only non-German organizer of the 5-stage Controller Academy program. As well as that, we are the only members of international group of controlling in Serbia. And we have published 13 books, including Mission of Controlling and Processes of Controlling and KPIs. We have organized 7 controller congresses, and we have had over 30,000 participants at the congresses. Apart from that, we organize CFO and controlling clubs, where we've had already 56 meetings of our 400 members. We also published the Controlling magazine and have already had 14 issues of this magazine in Serbian. As well as that, we do the implementation of controlling in companies, and we've done over 60 projects of implementation and improvement of controlling and reporting. Finally, we have over 70 trainings in controlling and reporting, which makes us focused on controlling and number one for controlling in Serbia. This is an example of one of the events that we have organized for CFOs and controllers. And here are pictures from some of our 7 congresses that were organized in Belgrade. We have issued 14 issues of Controlling magazine, and we have published 12 books that I have already mentioned. As well as that, we have published the best controlling book in Serbia, which was written by Bojan, and it has 500 pages with 400 illustrations and many examples from the practice. We organize the CFO and Controlling Club meetings with our 400 members, and here's a picture of the 30th generation of Controlling Academy that we've had in Serbia. For us, it's characteristic that we are passionate about business and about controlling. And when we do the implementation, we know the business and controlling logic that is behind. So this was the overview or the presentation, and after this you will have the chance to see the demo live version of the corporate planning.